It was a dark and gloomy night when the 3-year-old girl was beaten and yelled at by her abusive drunk father. Luckily, her brother just turned 18 and saved her by running away with her and living in the small Karakura town. In this small town in Japan, the two siblings lived in harmony. However, the tragic life of this girl was not over yet, as she was naturally born with long, orange hair. Orange hair being viewed as delinquency in Japan. Because of this, she was bullied and physically harassed by her classmates. However, she refused to tell her brother, as she did not want to share the pain. As time passes, she eventually gets into a major argument with her brother, and the following hour after that, she would never see him again, as he had died in an accident. This is the story of the most misconceived character in all of Bleach, and dare I say, one of the best female characters in shonen. The princess and wielder of the 6 flowers of the hibiscus shield, Orihime Inoue.
Just look at me. The truth is I can't bring myself to do it. Anyone who tries to hurt Tatsuki will have to answer to me! What should I do? Tell me, Ichigo. What can I do? Stomach. Please don't cry, Ichigo. It's tearing me apart. Please don't cry.
5 months ago, I released one of my favorite videos on the channel titled The Misconceptions of Wako Mundo. In the video, I gave my opinion and debunked several claims on the Wako Mundo subsection of the Arrancar arc, and you guys absolutely adored the video, as it was quickly given hundreds of likes and thousands of views. I also had a crapload of fun on the video. Immediately after making it, I knew that I had to make another video like this for Orihime Inoue. However, this video is far more interesting, as until one of my more recent rereads, I generally believed that Orihime was not anything special. I never thought she was useless, but thought she was relatively a B-tier character. In fact, prior to the script, my first draft was only about 2 things: why she was not useless, and a defense about her scene against Ukiura. But today we're going to prove to the people of the world that she is far from useless. We're going to defend her scene against Ukiura and explain why she is one of the best female characters in shonen and her importance inside the entirety of Bleach. We are going to prove that Rukia is not alone as the only S-tier female in Bleach. Anyway, if you want more debunking videos, then drop a like and comment. Also subscribe if you guys are new, as I'm racing to 2,000 subscribers. And without all further ado, let's begin today's video. One of the funniest claims that has enveloped the community is the claim that Orihime is a useless character, when in fact she is quite the opposite. Among the Bleach cast, I can only think of a handful of characters that have proven to be more useful throughout the series. Orihime has been there for Ichigo since the beginning, and without her as a character, the story of Bleach would have never been the same. Even starting as early as in the Substitute arc, there is a detailed list of events that prove her usefulness. In the Substitute Shinigami arc, Orihime Inoue saves her entire class, including her closest friend Tatsuki in chapter 43. This is all done by defeating a Hollow that had full control over everyone. She later spends her time training and developing her powers with Yoichi, and even gives Ichigo the final push to go and save Rukia Kuchiki in chapter 58. In the Soul Society arc, almost immediately, Orihime saves the entire group at the very beginning, as in chapter 71. She uses her shield to save the group from Kotatsu. Without her presence, the main cast would already be dead. Following this, after their first encounter with Genichimaru, she is there to use her healing abilities to save the gatekeeper Jidambo. Orihime comes up with a master plan to use Shinigami robes to help stealthily move around, and it would have worked until a captain nearby noticed them and began to follow them in chapter 120. In chapter 120, as an explosion occurs from Mayuri and Uryu yells, it is Orihime that saves Uryu and Maki from the explosion. Granted, it was a dual effort between Uryu's deductive reasoning and Orihime's abilities and reaction time. It still proves that she was far from useless. The last thing she does in this arc is heal Ichigo, but by using her unique powers, it caused everybody to notice what she was doing. It was different. Her powers are unique and fascinating. Even prior, Mayuri wanted to experiment on her to learn more about her powerful abilities. Later in the Arrancar arc, she is the one that notices the changes with Uryu and informs Ichigo. She is the one that saves Toshiro Hitsugaya and Rukia Kuchiki by healing them. She is the one that informs Ichigo of Aizen's plan, and is the one that manages to find Ichigo, even though Ichigo is extremely difficult to track down. She is also able to easily understand and pass through Haichi's barrier, the old lieutenant of the Kido division. She is then harassed by Kisuke to not get involved in the upcoming battle, but she chooses to ignore him and train harder. This allows her to get stronger and be able to heal 2 people at once later in the series. In chapter 234, Orihime sacrifices her freedom to save Ichigo and the others from certain death from Ukiura, and the reason why Ukiura wants to capture her is because of 2 reasons. 1, Aizen is genuinely intrigued by her abilities and usefulness, and 2, Aizen needs to use her to get to Ichigo and trap captains inside of Wako Mundo. A lot more happens, especially involving the Hokyoku, but that's really irrelevant for this section of the video. Following the Arrancar arc, Orihime does not do a crap load in Fullbring. However, she does manage to help Ichigo in his training tremendously by healing his wounds, allowing him to continue training. And we also learn that she has been training a crap load through the time skip as well. Anyway, after this point, she doesn't get much screen time. However, she does prove that she's useful later on throughout Thousand Year Blood War. Orihime is Ichigo's defense against Yuwatch, and she blocks several attacks from the man that's the son of the Soul King. Now eventually it does fail and her shield breaks, but what people don't understand is that Ichigo failed his part too in this combo. She was supposed to be on the defense while he was supposed to be on the offense. And while at first it worked, they both ended up failing just a few minutes later. But she still managed to block a few attacks and save Ichigo's life from those attacks. Anyway, after this moment, she is still crucial inside of the story of Bleach, as she is one of the individuals involved in the repair of Ichigo's Zanpakuto, which causes the defeat of Yuwatch. Overall, throughout the story, these are just a good chunk of how useful she has been throughout the series. I mean, without her, Ichigo wouldn't have even been able to kill Yuwatch. And while I did not highlight everything that she's done throughout the story, I think I've highlighted enough to just say, hey, she's a pretty useful character. I mean, without her, the entire universe would be destroyed. I just think that's playing for her case in being one of the most useful characters in the show, but hey, maybe that's just me. I mean, I think people just kind of forget that support characters can be useful too, and they have a role to play. You don't have to be fighting everybody and be a buff JoJo character to be useful in a show. Like, you can be useful by just being support. Throughout the criticism of Orihime's character, one of the most highlighted aspects is her reaction to Ichigo's death and transformation. People believe that she feared Ichigo's hollow side for no reason, that she overreacted, and that she ruined the tension and emotion of the scenes. And for me personally, these claims all made almost no sense. I think when it comes down to Bleach, people forget that the main cast is a group of high school teenagers. Orihime is a human teenager thrown inside of a world filled with death gods and soul-eating hollows. I mean, with this knowledge, Orihime's reaction to Ichigo's death is understood by viewing the foundation of her character. Many fail to notice exactly how Orihime's character has been built up at this point because they just choose to ignore her. First of all, her fear of Ichigo's mask and his Vasto Lorde form is from 2 things. The first thing is PTSD, and the series makes this fairly obvious. You see, in chapter 3 through 5 of Bleach, she watches as her brother becomes this hollow, and she is now watching the man she is in love with go through the same process. The person she has devoted all her love to is becoming like the monster her brother became. Again, she is only 15 years old. Ichigo is her everything, and that's the second reason. It's that Ichigo is literally her everything. She is in love with this man, which makes sense for teenagers. She just watched her everything die in front of her eyes. The man she loved, the man she devoted everything to, died all because she went with Ukiura. He died trying to save her, and in this mental breakdown that she is having, she is just so confused as she had just put all of her trust into Ichigo, the man that she loved. She blames herself for everything, and without Ichigo being alive, she simply just does not know what to do next. Everything is just gone as Uryu fights against Ukiura, and she just needs help. And at this point, she begs for help. However, this 15-year-old girl had no idea that would turn Ichigo into a monster. And at this point, she couldn't fathom that this monster was still Ichigo. That Ichigo had turned into a monster for a single reason, and that purpose was to save Orihime. Her reaction is completely justified, and if anything, it makes Ichigo's death seem more hopeless. more emotional. Her scream brings a shiver down my spine, as personally I genuinely realize what she must be going through from a mental perspective. Without Orihime, Ukiyora's fight against Ichigo would lose its spot as my favorite fight in fiction, within a heartbeat. People want their favorite characters to be like these perfect people that simply don't have emotions, flawless people. Some people just like characters that feel robotic in their emotion. Orihime is not like this. She is a realistic character and acts like the 15-year-old that she is. Many people don't understand the difference between support characters and badass fighting characters. There is a clear distinction, and just because Orihime fits that support character role does not equate her to being a bad character. Finally, the character of Orihime is absolutely fantastic. Rather than bringing up arguments that others have, I'm going to analyze her myself in today's video. If I were Rain, could I connect with someone's heart just as it can connect the eternally separated earth and sky? As a 3-year-old girl, Orihime grew up around abusive parents. Her father was an abusive drunk while her mother was a prostitute. As her brother became the age of 18, he took Orihime and ran to live on his own with her, as he was scared that their dad was going to kill her. However, tragedy swept again as Orihime was bullied in school for years. They even cut her hair without her permission. Orihime, however, chose to hide this from Sora, and immediately following the bullying, her brother was killed right after having an unfinished argument with Orihime. Orihime felt broken and alone as she prayed every day to him. She wished that she had said goodbye, and by a twist of fate, she got that chance as her brother was turned into a hollow years later. When he came after her, she watched the brother that she cared about beat up her best friend and the man she loved, nearly killing the two of them. However, mere moments after, Ichigo wakes up Sora, and Sora's humanity takes over once again. He chooses to kill himself before he can harm Orihime again. Orihime is a character that always needs someone to protect her. While Ichigo was someone who always protected the ones he cared about, Orihime had to also rely on Tatsuki when she was bullied for her hair. While Ichigo experienced the same type of bullying for his hair, he was able to protect himself, while Orihime needed to depend on someone. They are two characters that are filled with grief and guilt from the deaths of their loved ones. This is why Orihime understands Ichigo so well, and also one of the reasons why she loves him so much. In the poem of Volume 3, Tite Kubo expresses Orihime's emotions in such a few words perfectly. If I were Rain, could I connect with someone's heart, just as it can connect the eternally separated earth and sky? While Ichigo corners the hollow that killed his mother by himself, Orihime is outside in the rain after Tatsuki told her about his mother's death. She is walking outside thinking about Ichigo and how she can truly understand him on a deeper level now. And while I can't prove it, me and several people online believe that Orihime's inspiration is from an ancient story that inspires an entire festival in Japan known as Tanabata. In this story, there's a girl named Orihime who can only see her lover once a year, as her father forbade them from ever seeing each other. However, after pleading with her father, Orihime is allowed to see him once a year on the 7th day in 7th month. Japanese believe that if on the festival the weather is raining, Orihime is unable to see her lover. The story of Bleach, rain has the thematic symbolism of despair, grief, and sadness. When I interpret this poem, I think it is referring to the connection she now holds with Ichigo Kurosaki through the sense of grief. They both are connected within their grief, as their hearts are now connected through the sense of despair, similar to how the rain connects the ground from the sky. Orihime is always seen as a kind-hearted young girl. She needed protection, however she always refused to share the emotional burden around. She refused to tell her brother about the bullying, she refused to tell Tatsuki about the Shinigami world, and later about her inner struggle with jealousy. And she sacrificed herself to save Ichigo from Ukiora. She needed protection, but she ends up seeking to be the protector. In the first arc, Orihime proactively pushes Ichigo into saving Rukia. After this, she decides to train and become stronger so that she can help Ichigo save Rukia. And as the Soul Society comes to an end, we watch as we desperately see her genuinely want to help, but being forced not to out of her own weakness. Ryu has to literally tell Shinigami to take her away because he didn't want her to have to fight the captain. And as the Arrancar arc begins, it really helps the audience truly understand Orihime and her entire character. Within the arrival of Yami and Ukiura, Orihime, Ichigo, and Chad all end up being useless in the battle, and the result of it was Orihime having her connection distorted. She wished more than anything that she could protect others, while Ichigo felt the same guilt for being unable to protect Orihime. Although Chad underestimated Orihime, she was still set on defending Chad and protecting him without the need for Ichigo, but Ichigo came by wanting her to just stay back. So as they both mutually attempt to defend each other, they both universally come to failure, something that changes as time goes on. They don't hold each other in the same regard. Orihime has Ichigo too high on a pedestal, while Ichigo wants to protect Ohime's physical well-being alone. Because of their failure, instead of one protecting the other, they both need protection from Kisuke, and right after, Ichigo is depressed until Rukia comes in and changes things. However, this helps us truly understand Ohime's low self-esteem. She thinks to herself about Rukia and thinks Rukia is better than her in every single way. Orihime is filled with this sense of jealousy as she struggles to deal with her emotions. She has this inferiority complex around Rukia, but as a viewer, we watch this develop and we watch her accept her emotions and begin to understand them better. She struggles with the concept of love, thinking it's only one-sided, something most weebs can definitely relate to. Orihime has put Ichigo and Rukia up upon this pedestal. Orihime can only understand Ichigo through their shared sense of grief and sadness, while Rukia can understand him as an equal, as she is a warrior and she fights through her pains and struggles. She can't imagine herself anywhere near the level she has placed them. In fact, although there's signs of their love not being one-sided, she refuses to accept any possibility of Ichigo's love being mutual. This is best seen as she says that she will fall in love with Ichigo, not that she will be loved by Ichigo, not that they will be in love. Or even further, as she can't bring herself to kiss the sleeping Ichigo, as in her eyes she does not deserve it, and those lips are meant for someone else. Rangiku fights her jealousy. Earlier, Rangiku ends up fighting her jealousy by explaining how Ichigo needs both of them equally, and how she is a good person. While Rukia allowed Ichigo to push through and pass his emotions by overcoming it through strength and resolve, Orihime addresses his pain by forcing him to address his emotions, coming to terms with them from an inner level. As said earlier in the series, Kisuke attempts to convince Orihime to not be a part of the upcoming battle. This hurts Orihime a lot as she wants to save her friends and fight alongside them. She ends up training with Rukia in the Soul Society, and as she is heading back, she is caught by Ukiura. She proactively ends up deciding to sacrifice her freedom to save her friends. She makes a decision that is so crucial in the series. This decision she comes to regret later, as it eventually leads to Ichigo's death. But as she's being taken by Ukiura, she decides to see Ichigo one last time, and it is here where she confesses her love to an Ichigo that is asleep, and she has finally come to terms fully with her emotions. It is a beautiful scene in Bleach as Orihime is finally being real with herself. While in Wako Mundo, Orihime proactively decides that she is going to destroy the Hokyoku to help her friends, and that this was her purpose, even if it may kill her. And as time progresses, she learns that Ichigo and the gang have arrived, and are now there to rescue her. Eventually, Grimmjow brings Orihime to Ichigo for her to heal him, and she attempts to refuse because Ichigo is so injured, she doesn't want any more harm to come to him. She could care less what Grimmjow did to her, she just didn't want Ichigo to have to experience more pain. Ichigo, however, convinces her to heal him anyway, and as they fight, Ichigo tries not to use his masks as he does not want to scare Orihime. However, as soon as he does, Orihime experiences some PTSD. She thinks about what happened to her brother as he was consumed by a hollow as well. This causes her to freak out a bit until she calms down, realizing that Ichigo is still in control. A bit of time passes as eventually Ichigo fights Ukiura, both being filled with so much hope, a concept that Ukiura cannot come to fathom, and as Orihime slaps Ukiura eventually, a being that could kill her with a finger, Ukiura is just confused as he can't fathom why she would even be willing to do something like this. They eventually have a striking conversation about the heart. Orihime is content with dying, and in her death she knows her heart will remain with her friends. But again, Ukiura could not fathom this. She was not afraid of being hurt. Her only desire and the only thing she was afraid of was Ichigo getting hurt or becoming a hollow. She could care less if she was abused and beaten to a pulp, as long as she could put on that brave face and bear the pain alone. This contrasts Ichigo's mindset that we saw earlier, where he wishes to fight everyone's pain head on, preventing them from getting involved. As the fight begins and Ichigo is killed, Orihime has a mental breakdown. She is no longer able to bear all the pain, but in fact in her mind, it was her own fault. She was the reason why the person that she loved died. Her purpose was no longer there. In her mind, she relied far too much on Ichigo's protection and hid too much from him, like what she did with Tatsuki and her brother. She had failed and had nothing else left. She had no idea what to do as he laid there dying, and she was unable to try to bear his pain. With no one left to rely on, Uryu dying trying to fight Ukiura, she simply sat there and cried for help. And it just so happened that Ichigo heard that cry for help and became a monster with a single duty: to protect the Princess Orihime. This was not Ichigo, and Orihime's worst fear had finally become a reality. Ichigo's hollow side killed Ukiura in the end, however she continued to not be afraid of Ukiura, really showing how she wanted to bear even his pain in the end. As time passes on, we learn that she trains for one single goal, and that this is to one day be relied upon from Ichigo, so that he will never become the monster again. As time passes on, we learn that she has been training so that Ichigo can rely upon her. The development is seen inside of the Fullbring arc and the 1000-Year Blood War arc, but you can see it throughout the entire story. At the start, Uryu was dealing with most of the hollows after Ichigo lost his powers. However, Ichigo still relied on her and Chad to be there for Uryu. They all took upon this burden when Ichigo was no longer able to be the protector. As Ichigo regained his powers, Orihime accepted him as the protector once again. However, she honed her skills so that she could defend herself, so that she could protect her friends, and so that she could never allow Ichigo to get hurt beyond repair. This is shown inside of her conversation with Ruruka, where unlike in the Arrancar arc where she genuinely feared Ichigo getting hurt, she accepted it as a necessity, and was willing to bear his burden with him, helping him in any way possible. However, things were somewhat unequal at the start of this arc in terms of their dynamic. Orihime and Ichigo's dynamic changed in a way where it was almost reversed in some senses of the word. And while Orihime's personality, character, and overall life developed a crapload, even her dynamic continues to develop, as she still had far more room to develop inside of the story. It does develop though far more in the 1000-Year Blood War arc, where for the first time Orihime was relied on from Ichigo, and she relied on Ichigo in a mutual team battle. She became his defense while he became her offense, and together they did fairly well against Yuwatch until the Almighty was used. However, even after they eventually lost that fight, Orihime's power combined with Tsukishima still gave Ichigo his Zanpakuto back. She was there for him the whole time. He relied upon her, and she relied upon him to defeat Yuwatch. Through this mutuality, Ichigo used the blade to finally kill Yuwatch, for between the two, they had courage. Orihime brought balance to the cast by introducing a unique perspective that was always different. Being raised as a human female, experiencing love, and having an inferiority complex, she saw every event differently, dealing with her emotions rather than overcoming them with resolve alone, and was oftentimes the opposite of the normal cast. She was unable to fight back, as she would rather bear all the pain alone. While Ichigo contrasted this and fought for everyone's pain, she helped Ichigo in her own unique way, while Rukia did it her route. She was the yin to the cast's yang, and it's this dynamic that truly makes her important and better than the audience truly believes. Orihime was the one that cries for Ichigo even while her memories were being manipulated against him. Orihime was the one that surpassed her grief and dealt with her emotions. She went from needing someone to protect her into being the one to protect. She was Ichigo's shield and Ichigo was her sword. She was among Tite Kubo's masterpiece. She was the tragic princess Orihime Inoue. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Shout out to my channel member, FireDog. If you guys want to join the channel members and get shoutouts at the end of my videos too, then become one today. Subscribe if you guys are new, as I am racing to 2,000 subscribers. Drop a like, comment, and I will see you guys all in the next video. And in the words of Genichimaru, bye bye.